Here we go. 7 beliefs passed on by narcissistic parents. Number 1, you think you're not enough. If you was raised by narcissistic parents, a byproduct of that is you're going to go through life feeling like you are not enough for anybody. Because that's where it starts, in the home. If you were raised by a narcissist, you learn to believe that you are not enough. You may have been criticized for your appearance or your abilities, ignored when it came to your achievements and accomplishments, or expected to be perfect. If a narcissist parent ever does praise their child, it's typically insincere and intended to make the narcissist look good. When you grow up in such an environment, you begin to believe that there is something inherently permanent. There is something permanently wrong with you. You learn that your worth depends on what others think of you, so validation from someone outside yourself becomes important. You feel like you have to prove yourself over and over again because deep down inside, it really feels as though no one likes or loves you for who you are, even if they say different. Sounds familiar to anybody? That hit home, don't it? You think you're not enough. That's where that belief comes from, bro. That's why everybody want to create this image, bro, online. Look at all my accomplishments. Look at all my degrees. Look at my body. Look at my face. Look how handsome I am. Look at my clothes. Look at my car. Look at my rims. Look at all this damn money I got in my hand. All of that is to compensate for the fact that you think you ain't enough without it. See, because I don't have to have on nothing designer. I don't have to be in a foreign. Don't have to be a Rolex. It's going to tell the same time. But my value is not in things outside of Will. Will knows that his value is carried inside of him. I like new shoes, but they don't make me. I like foreign cars, but it don't make me. I like clean and nice clothes, but they do not make me. Because my value is not coming from other people. It comes from me. I'm self-motivated. 7 beliefs passed on by narcissistic parents. Number 2, you believe you are responsible for the happiness of others. You believe that you are responsible for the happiness of other people. And you're not. You're responsible for your happiness. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
A narcissistic parent often expects you to be an extension of themselves. You ain't an extension of your parents. You're an extension of yourself and God. You might feel like you need to protect other people's feelings by avoiding conflict or speaking up, even if doing so would benefit everyone involved. People like this, they don't even speak up when people do something wrong to them because they don't want to cause a conflict. They don't want to cause a problem. You believe that love is conditional. Love is not conditional. Love is unconditional. You believe that love is conditional, something that can very easily be taken away from you or withdrawn at any moment based on how well you please others with your actions and behaviors or lack thereof. 7 beliefs passed on by narcissistic parents. Number 3, you think your feelings aren't important. That's the type of parent when you cry and shut up making that noise. When you walking around with a face, you better get that look off your face. You ain't got no reason to be walking around here with no attitude with nobody. I'll knock that look off your face and have a conversation and create an environment where the kid feels open to explain something to you because they might be getting bullied. Or she might be getting pressured to have sex with a boy. She just ain't said nothing. You don't know until you ask them. But because you don't know why they look in a certain way or why they act in a certain way and then you flip out on them because you feel offended, narcissists believe that their feelings are the only ones that count. And if we're raised by one, you likely believe that your feelings are not important. Your narcissistic parent was never interested in your feelings, and if they did show concern for you, it was only when it benefited them. There that go again. You learn that your emotions are something to be ignored or criticized, not validated and not supported. That's why people who have narcissistic parents like that, they end up being in relationships with people who just pick up where the parents left off. They done already conditioned you for somebody that's toxic. Your parents didn't validate your feelings. Your significant other is going to be the type of person who won't validate your feelings because that's normal to you. You've been raised that way. And when you come in contact with somebody who try to validate your feelings, you look at them like they strange. Or you'll sabotage them because you're not used to that. That's not a normal relationship. You learn that your emotions are something to be ignored or criticized, not validated, and not supported. Narcissists love a good pity party, but they rarely step up to show support and comfort when their children are upset. In this way, narcissists teach their children that they should expect little empathy from other people throughout life, which sets them up for repeated disappointment as a result of this expectation. 7 beliefs passed on by narcissistic parents. Number 4, you believe you are a burden to others. And then somebody show you love, you don't think you deserve it. If you were raised by a narcissist, there's a good chance that you believe you are a burden to others. Narcissistic parents tend to make their children feel guilty for having basic needs and desires, like asking for help with homework or asking for, I got a fee in art class. I got to pay my fee. Another fee. I'm getting sick and tired of you in this school always asking me for my money. You need to get you a job. They're in 6th grade. They ain't getting no job. These are basic needs, y'all. In fact, a parent could say to that child when they ask for help for their homework, you weren't paying attention in school? In fact, if you bring up any of these needs, the narcissist will likely become angry and punish you for being selfish or taking up too much space. Over time, children will internalize these beliefs and assume that they need to live up to their parent expectations in order to be acceptable members of society. You 30 years old, still trying to live up to your mama's expectations? Number 1, it's a shame that your mama or your dad would still make you feel like that. And then number 2, that you still letting it happen. 7 beliefs passed on by narcissistic parents. Think you should always hide your struggles. Yeah, some of y'all better raise y'all hands more than that, because I know when my mama sent me to the grocery store with the damn food stamps, I waited until everybody I knew left the store. I was hiding our struggle. We didn't go to school talking about, yeah, we on welfare, my mama on welfare. You hid that. My mama be done taking us down there to the welfare office with her. You be like walking behind her, like 20 feet behind her. Like, I don't want to walk in the building. Where you going? Why you taking me? Come on, man. Some of y'all had that free cheese and butter too. Don't act like you didn't. If you was raised by a narcissist, one of the most damaging things they did to you was teach you to cover up and hide your struggles. If you were raised by a narcissist, one of the most damaging things they did to you was teach you to cover up and hide your struggles. They didn't want their image as a perfect parent challenged. So they made sure that in front of other people, everything was perfect. They learned at an early age that problems were not allowed. You learned at an early age that problems were not allowed. If anything was wrong or if you had any issues, you were told it was because something was wrong with you. And since narcissistic parents often shame their children for having issues, it makes it harder for these children to open up about things in their future. This can include anything from financial difficulties to mental health issues to relationship problems to molestation. All right, 7 beliefs passed on by narcissistic parents. Number 6, you believe you're undeserving of good things. So even when something good happens for you, this ain't gonna last long. Nothing good lasts long. I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall. What's the catch? What's the trick to it? Or you sabotage the situation. You don't show up. You come late. Most people believe that they are deserving of love, happiness, and success. But if you were raised by a narcissist, chances are that you don't feel worthy of any of these things. It's because you were punished or demeaned for expressing any thoughts about yourself or for daring to think good things about yourself. Narcissists do everything in their power to make their children feel undeserving. Narcissists do everything in their power to make their children feel undeserving. 7 beliefs passed on by narcissistic parents. Hold on, I ain't done with this though. Narcissists do, we're still on, you believe you're undeserving. Narcissists do everything in their power to make their children feel undeserving. They make their kids feel like they're not good enough for anything, including love and attention from their own family members. From their own family members. As a result, you don't feel worthy of anything good that happens in your life because you feel like you really don't deserve it. 7 beliefs passed on by narcissistic parents. And final one, number 7, you think you can't trust your own decisions. You feel like you can't trust your own decisions because every time you try to make a decision, they tell you how stupid you were or how stupid the idea was. So you don't feel confident. Well, they always wanted to do it for you. Move out the way. You don't know what you're doing. Let me do it. Stop before you mess this up. You think you can't trust your own decisions. If you were raised by a narcissist, you may have internalized their negative messages. If you were raised by a narcissist, you may have internalized their negative messages. You simply don't believe your decisions are good enough. This can lead to a lack of self-confidence, which can make it difficult for you to trust your own judgment. This is because narcissists are often critical, blaming, and rejecting, because narcissists are often critical parents, blaming parents, and rejecting parents. They can also be extremely competitive with their children. They can also be extremely competitive with their children and belittle them in an attempt to make themselves look better in comparison. These behaviors have the effect of making you feel insecure about your abilities. A narcissistic parent can leave lasting scars on your psyche, and it's important to recognize these scars so you can start to heal from them.